Deep in the heart of prehistoric Africa, a harsh sun beat down on an unforgiving landscape. For a small band of Australopithecus, every day was a battle for existence. Their skinny frames, honed by endless struggle, were a testament to a life lived on the edge. They moved with a primal awareness, searching for sustenance. Suddenly, the air grew still. A chilling silence fell, the kind that precedes ultimate danger. Their instincts screamed a warning. From the tall grasses emerged a beast of myth, a giant prehistoric lion, its eyes fixed, its intent clear. Panic flared. Terror seized them. This was no ordinary predator. It was a force of nature, an apex hunter from a forgotten age. Their only option was flight. The massive lion gave chase, a blur of muscle and fury. Every pounding footstep promised imminent demise. Survival hung by a thread. They spotted a dark opening, a cave mouth, a desperate gamble for safety, a momentary reprieve from the relentless pursuit. Tumbling inside, they gasped for breath, their hearts hammering. The roar of the lion outside faded, but the darkness within held its own dread. Suddenly, two piercing yellow eyes materialized from the inky blackness. A new, unseen terror, far worse than the one they'd escaped. A guttural snarl echoed through the cave. The hidden beast struck, a blur of fur and claws. It was an ambush. Panicked, they scrambled back, desperate to escape the new horror. The perceived safety of the cave became a deadly trap. Bursting into the blinding daylight, they found themselves once again on the vast, open savanna, from one danger to another. The unseen cat-like predator from the cave followed, its shadowy form now visible, a sleek, powerful leopard or similar dangerous feline. No rest, no reprieve. They ran, their skinny legs burning, seeking any sanctuary from the relentless pursuit across the sun-baked plains. A clustered of towering trees offered their only hope. With desperate strength, they began to climb, pulling themselves upward. High above the ground, they clung to thick branches, panting, watching as the predatory cat circled below, frustration etched on its face. Hours passed. The sun began its slow descent. Finally, with a disgruntled huff, the big cat gave up, melting back into the shadows. Cautiously, they descended. Survival demanded more than flight. It demanded a new approach, a way to stand their ground. They looked at their bare hands, then at the vast, dangerous world. They needed tools, weapons, something to turn the tide. Their journey for survival now became a quest for strength. They needed to arm themselves against the dangers lurking everywhere. Through rugged mountains and dry stream beds, they searched for raw materials, strong sticks, sharp stones, anything that could be transformed. They gathered their finds, bringing them back to a makeshift camp. The task was clear: forge protection from nature's fury. Days turned into a tireless effort of trial and error. Frustration mounted, but the memory of their fear fueled their resolve. Then, a breakthrough. After 2 long days, a crude but effective weapon emerged, a stick with a sharp stone firmly attached. It was rudimentary, but it was theirs. A symbol of growing intelligence, a promise of defense against the terrifying unknown. The next morning, fortified by a meager meal, they emerged from their temporary shelter, armed and resolute. No longer simply fleeing, they now moved with purpose, scanning the horizon not just for danger, but for opportunity. Their path led them towards the distant, shimmering expanse of the sea, a source of water and new potential sustenance. But their journey was interrupted. The giant lion, their tormentor from days past, reappeared. This time, they would not run. A primal roar from the leader. This was their moment. The hunters would become the hunted, a bold challenge for survival. A cry of pain and a dark stain spread across the savanna grass. The scent of fresh blood spurred the lion to attack with renewed savagery. Witnessing their comrade fall, the remaining hunters were filled with a grim, shared fury. There was no retreating now, only victory or death. With a focused, coordinated effort, they lunged forward, using their stone-tipped weapons to strike at the lion's vulnerable flanks and legs. The lion staggered, its massive form shaking. The primitive weapons, driven by unified intent, had pierced its thick hide. With one final powerful strike, the leader brought their club down upon the giant cat's head. The roar silenced into a heavy, earth-shaking thud. Silence. The battle was over. Against the odds, the small, frail ancestors had felled a beast many times their size, a triumph of mind over might. Exhausted but exhilarated, they turned immediately to the injured. The shared threat was gone, replaced by the urgency of care. This immense carcass was a prize beyond measure, a source of food and hides that could sustain their group for weeks. But first, they needed to move it. Using their ingenuity, they quickly gathered nearby logs and sturdy branches, beginning to construct a makeshift carrier, or litter. Lifting the heavy lion onto the carrier was a huge effort, requiring their full collective strength and coordination. They hoisted the burden onto their shoulders. The journey back to the cave, though long and arduous, was now a victory march. The return was slow, painful, and fraught with the risk of attracting scavengers, but they pressed on, determined to secure their prize. Reaching the relative safety of the cave entrance, they dragged the massive body inside, securing it from scavengers and the setting sun. The first order of business, processing the immense carcass. The tools they created for defense were now essential for butchers. By using sharp stone flakes, they began the task of meticulously cutting through the tough hide and muscle, preparing the meat. The abundance of food was overwhelming. This single hunt would ensure survival through a period of scarcity, a profound change in their reality. Next, fire. They collected dry wood and kindling, preparing to unlock the final crucial benefit of this colossal kill. Using friction techniques, likely a hand drill or fire plow, they worked tirelessly to bring forth the sacred spark of flame. Finally, the flame caught. A small, brilliant light in the darkness, quickly fed with kindling until it grew into a substantial fire. The meat was placed near the flames, the heat transforming its texture and rendering it safer and easier to digest. The cooking process began. The smell of roasting meat, a rich, savory aroma, filled the cave, a scent of prosperity and triumph over the wilderness. With the fire providing light and the huge carcass yielding meat, the cave became their true sanctuary, a place of safety and abundance. They feasted. The consumption of cooked meat was not just nourishment. It was a communal ritual, strengthening their bonds and their minds. Each bite represented the culmination of their struggle, the terror of the hunt, the ingenuity of the weapon, and the control of fire. This meal was the reward for their courage and coordination. They had proven that collective intelligence could overcome any physical disadvantage. The injured comrade, cared for and now nourished, rested by the fire, a symbol of their compassion and growing social complexity.